This is Shawn Irwin, your youth director with Darts Ontario, and welcome to episode 35 of Darts Ontario Let's Talk Darts. I wanted to talk to our youth players from past and present to see how they got into darts and their story to help inspire youth dart players of today. Thank you to our sponsor, SSS Canada, for all their support in the Darts Ontario organization. Go to their Facebook page to see the high quality custom dart shirts which you can order for your team or individually. Tonight I'm with Kenny Nadon, formerly of the Scarborough Youth Dart League. Thank you, Kenny, for coming on to do an episode of Darts Ontario Let's Talk Darts. So how you doing tonight, Kenny?
Not too bad at all. Just waiting my turn to play some darts myself.
I bet. Seems like a lot of people these days are playing online darts. It's the new way.
Oh, definitely. I've joined in a few different leagues, so it's been interesting.
Good, good. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. We're going to go back in history because I know you played some youth darts. So how did you get started playing darts and how old were you when you started?
Well, I was 15, and it actually kind of started out as a fluke. Me and a buddy of mine that I grew up with used to play on the same hockey team, and he couldn't get me a ride home right away, so he said, "Come on out, play some darts for the afternoon," and pretty much didn't look back.
Nice.
Enjoyed it. It was a great experience.
Now, who inspired you to play competitively?
Um, Actually, it was pretty much that day, like the group of people that were around there. Um, Always upbeat and great team atmosphere, and we just kept going with it. And a couple of strong players, as I started getting more of a competitive level, just kept pushing me.
Now, you played in the Scarborough Youth Dart League. Tell us about the experience of playing in a youth dart league.
Wow. The travel was joyful back then. Our international plays, you met different kids, different levels of skill, different mentalities from these kids, and it was definitely a really joyful experience to keep everything going.
Was it a big league back in Toronto? Because as far as I've ever known, Toronto's always had a big league.
Um, I thought it was a fairly bigger league, a, a little bigger than what you had going there in Oshawa.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too bad.
Now, how often did you practice during the season as a youth player, and did you ever practice during the off season?
Oh yeah, I played with Earl Rowe. He was uh, he was my buddy that got me into to playing, and he literally lived right across the street. So we were playing all the time, every day after school. Paul Carlson, another big guy that dragged me in right after school. He lived right in behind my school. Come on, Kenny, let's go. Show me a ball. All the time. It was great.
Well, you mentioned a couple great dart players there, that's for sure. Paul and Earl. They've
Oh,
done well.
yeah, that they have.
So,
Definitely.
so practicing is never as fun as a real game, but how did you make practicing fun? If you guys were just playing in the basement, what kind of games were you playing to make it fun?
We kind of joked around, threw games from our knees, uh, made it to where we can only hit certain doubles or hit certain scores. And um, a lot of the warm ups of practicing our outs and stuff like that was just something we like getting into
It's
with
a
dealing with it.
it's a big part of the game. It's not just throwing it at the triple 20 or the bullseye.
No, definitely not. The saying is tons are for show, dollars doubles are for dough, right? So
Now, how do you prepare yourself before a big match, getting yourself focused?
um, honestly, I try to keep my head down and try not to let anything really get into my head. Um, I got a big supporter in Stacy and some other big names around me that just keep your head down, keep your focus. You know what you can do. Throw three darts and kind of keep that saying going through my head.
Well, that's like darts is a very emotional game, and when you're standing on the line and your opponent just shoots 180, how do you stay focused on that and just throw your darts?
Um, like I've said, I've tried to keep my head down. Definitely the hearing that 180 score. I know I can hit it. I've hit a few at times, and just remember it's only my three darts that I can control. I can't control anyone else's, and just keep plugging away, and
Well,
hopefully I get a shot at double.
well, even if your opponent shoots a 180, the game's not over, and we know there's a 180 curse that happens to so many of us.
Oh yes, yes, yes. I've fell fell victim to it a few times, so
Yeah.
it's okay.
So, what's the best part of competing for you, and what's the best thing about darts for you as well?
I'd say the best thing is the meeting of so many new people. The dart community is great. Obviously, you're gonna have a few bad apples in the crowd, but overall, it's a great atmosphere, and the competition it's growing so much, and I just always want to get better, and the people have so much more support around you trying to get better as well. So it's definitely enjoyable.
Say you're in a knockout round and you win your match. You had a great performance. What's the one thing you like to do after a great match like that?
Um, Bigger, I guess uh, turn around to my supporters and more or less go, "Yep, I got it. Thanks guys for being there." You know, Paul's taught me a lot that try not to show the emotion to your opponent, and save it for after the game, and to the people that watched and supported you, and cheer it out with them and enjoy it.
Well, that shows definitely great sportsmanship when you do that.
Uh, Thanks. I always wasn't the strongest sportsman out there, but a lot of good talkings from a lot of strong players and players I respect playing against told me it's time to grow up and have the sportsmanship about it.
Sometimes we have to be that way. You can be a confident person, but it's the cockiness that a lot of people notice and they don't want to be around someone like that.
Definitely, definitely. It's been told to me plenty of times.
Well, we're always learning and improving ourselves in life and in darts as well, of course.
Yes, definitely. So,
So let's look at some of your experience playing youth in Darts Ontario. With the website missing a handful of years of zones and provincial results, tell us about your experience playing youth zones and provincials and some of your results.
oh, I think there's been the first few years they were a little shaky playing in the juniors. I had Sean Falls as a juniors partner, um, which was honestly a really great shot back then, and I haven't really stayed in touch with him. But I believe we made top 32 uh, in that same year. I think I made top 32 for the junior singles, and then the following year, I think we were at the international place. I think what it was, and me and Earl partnered up the following year. I think we made top 16 in doubles. Um, I believe Earl went on and made made top 16. I think I lost in the top 16 in my bracket. So I've been on the cusp a few times there in the playing youth darts. So it's gave me the passion to drive. Always wanted to get there.
There's so much competition in youth darts, and with only two players in, say junior males, only two make the team. And with so many players that actually come out and play, you really got to practice and work at it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I had the pleasure with having Adam Bernard and Jason Bernard in our groups, and they were great kids back then, and wow, great shots. It's natural talents, and gave me something to thrive to beat them at any given time. So it was the competition in our Scarborough group was fun and very competitive.
Well, after the youth, it was time to move on into the adult program. Tell us about that transition from youth to adults.
Um, I found it a little difficult for myself. Um, Earl Earl had a lot of attention. He had some big name players like John Part. Honestly, he was around when Earl was just breaking into adult league as well. Doug Scanlon, Valley, like some really big names. And I kind of took second notice, and I joined some C teams and some B teams. Weren't as competitive, but it wasn't too bad, right? It was still joyful and great community.
Now,
Right?
have you played adult provincials with Darts Ontario?
Yep, I've played a lot of years in
Did you?
provincials. So
And do you remember your best result?
I believe it was about 2 years ago, maybe three now. I made lost out in the top 16, and it was felt embarrassing, but at the same time, it was a drive to say it was work on your doubles. It was a 12 darts at a double to make it into the top 8, and oops, I missed a double. Nerves got to me, and just kept going.
Well, when you get to that level, you can't be embarrassed. We all have some bad games, and we know what we have to work on, but they're so good. The adults at that level are so good, and making top 16, one win away from making the team,
Yeah.
that can really set your goals, I'm sure, to make it next time.
Oh, definitely. It pushed me. Me and Paul literally hit the board for the next year. Just work on your doubles. Come on, let's go get it done. And I've improved a lot on my doubles, and the counting's definitely come a long way. Working with other possible outs, which is a great thing.
That's good. And speaking of outs in the game of darts, you really have to become an expert while you're standing on the line, calculating in your head. How have you become so good at being able to know what to shoot and what to leave yourself with?
Actually, to me, it's work on it. It becomes a memory game, really. Like knowing that you have 164. If you go triple 19, triple 19, you got bull left it. Two triples is the 114. It becomes a habit and memory as long as you keep shooting at it and try to remember it.
Well, that's a really good point, because when you have an even number, most people are going to shoot an even number as well.
Yeah, definitely. Some of these big numbers, it can work out to use two odds when it's easier to shoot two of the same number instead of chasing the board, right?
Yeah, for sure. So who are some of your biggest supporters today as you play darts?
Well, definitely my family, of course. They've been a big push, and as Stacy always said, I don't want you playing weaker players. I always want you playing the tough players and getting better. Paul Carlson, he's been there from youth, throwing the biggest pushes towards me, and I guess my family here that I'm visiting for the weekend, Ian and Beth, they're always saying, you're going to be on TV one day. Come on, we got this. So it's some of my biggest ones are right here. Definitely support me well.
Well, you mentioned family, and I know another support, and that's your daughter, Ashley. And you
Yes.
inspired her to come out and play darts, and she started in December, played in March at the Provincials, and she made top 4 in all Ontario, one step away from making the team. How was that, watching your daughter playing her first Provincials?
Well, I talked most of them, and it became really nervous for me to not be able to show my emotions, and I was so proud of her. And then when she made that that go at top four and Gaynor made that call, it brought a lot of tears of joy. Definitely, and getting teary up now about it, but
It was,
definitely,
it
definitely
was
proud of that moment.
It was so exciting. I know I run the Oshawa League, but also all the youth are my youth.
Yeah,
But seeing that Ashley and Trinity Carlson were that close to playing each other in the final, so
yeah,
they
that
played
that
some good
was
matches.
that definitely Trinity being Paul's daughter. It kind of it would have put a definitely a big epic moment for my experiences.
Well, both players that they played last year will not be there next year, so maybe it's their turn. We'll see what happens in March.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, Ashley gets her drive back in and kick some butt.
Yep. Now, did you play any other sports as a youth?
A lot of hockey. Played some school football, track and field, cross country, stuff like that.
And
So,
today, do you have any hobbies besides darts?
no, not really. I beat up on that board on a daily basis and try to keep better.
Well, we mentioned about online darts. Tell us about your experience playing online darts now with COVID here.
Wow. Um, it widened my eyes to how many great players and great personalities are in the world, let alone just here in Canada and Toronto, Oshawa area. That it's pretty big, broad horizon.
So, what makes a good dart shaft and flight that works best for you? So, someone just starting into darts, everyone's got their own feel, but what works for you?
Um, I I use a kite flight. I generally throw a lighter dart, so I throw a little harder. Um, I also generally try to have a longer point, so kind of shorten the shaft, speed up the dart. It's just trying to find your balance with the dart, really, on how you throw it. Uh, One thing doesn't work, try something else. Always keep trying something different until you find that right rhythm for yourself.
Yeah, there's many stores that you can go to and try some darts and see what works best for
Yep.
you.
Yeah, definitely. Um, I've used a lot of different avenues to get my dart supplies, and it's it's helped me out, and
That's great.
let's
And
keep going.
it's always a fun question, but do you have a favorite opponent you love to play against, even today? And if there's one player in the world you'd love to play, who would that be?
Uh, One player I enjoy playing is I I guess it would be Paul. Like he's always picked on me, at gave me the confidence to keep playing and cheered me on to keep playing forward. And one player I'd love to play is probably the Wizard. His doubling back when I started following the PDC. I want to see if I can compete with his finishing skills.
In time and lots of practice, right?
Yes, definitely in time and a lot of practice.
So, due to COVID, not too many people are playing in leagues, but what league would you be playing in if there wasn't COVID, or are you playing in a league?
Um, During I generally play the Oshawa leagues. Find there are a lot of competitors that keep up to my pace and definitely know how to put me in line. But I play in two different leagues out there, and I also play a league in Markham where I'm presently living. So
Well, you're keeping pretty busy. And so, what are your goals for the new season, and how will you work towards those goals?
um, definitely be a lot more patient with the games coming up, and uh, try to help out as much as I can, because definitely people help me out.
That's good.
Um, and obviously practice whenever I get a chance.
We know, like I said, darts is a very emotional game. It's not just about throwing at the board. It's about controlling those emotions in your head, because your head can throw the game right off.
Definitely, that it does.
So,
So
as we wrap this up, one more question. Any advice you can give to the youth that set their goals to make nationals? What should they be doing to make this happen?
One thing I always said, definitely being at the youth level, was remember, it's only 3 darts. You can only control your 3 darts. Keep your head down and make sure you work on those doubles, because those are the ones that are going to win you your games.
That's for sure. Well, great advice, Kenny. Thank you so much for doing this episode. We wish you all the best in reaching your goals, and hopefully we see you at some tournaments and, of course, provincials next year.
Yes, definitely. And thanks for having me on here, Shawn.
Thank you, Kenny. Have a great night.
You too. Cheers.
That was great talking to Kenny Nadon and going over his history of darts. Now make sure you go to our website at www.dartsontario.ca to find out all the information about our organization, and go to the Darts Ontario Facebook page and hit like to get all the updates. Are you a current or former youth player in the Darts Ontario organization? Would you like to be on one of our episodes? Please email me at youth@dartsontario.com. This is Shawn Irwin, your Darts Ontario Youth Director, and make sure you tune into our next episode on episode 36 of Darts Ontario Let's Talk Darts. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.